JD here, and as you can see, we are back on F1 24, and we are finally back with some league racing content, which I can't even tell you how long it's been since I did a league race. I think it might have even been over a year since I have done league racing, and it feels very, very strange to be back. So this league here is a GASR, or GASR if you want to pronounce it that way. It's a very respected European league that's been going on for a very long time now. The competition here is extremely good, and I feel this is just absolutely perfect for me. The calendar consists of 19 different rounds, so it's a very long season. And if you've been staying tuned to my Instagram or if you're in my Discord, the first round was at China. I didn't actually record this one or even stream it because I actually joined the qualifying quite late. I had some personal commitments I needed to attend to, so I actually started from last. Did get some points, or scrap some points, but the level of competition here, as you'll see in this video and also in the Zandvoort race that I'll be uploading on Saturday, it is very, very high, and I think it's just absolutely perfect to me. So the format is full qualifying, 50% races, but they do some sprint formats, and in today's race we have to do a mandatory two-stop. So over certain leagues, or so over certain rounds, certain tracks, you will have to do two stops, which is one of them is here today. And you can see we're in the Ferrari. We're currently using the official cars for now, but there is discussions that we might be using the F1 World cars because there are some discrepancies between the equal cars. So that's something that might change in the near future. But you can see here, definitely struggling a little bit in the qualifying. I wasn't too happy with my pace. Race pace, as always, I feel is very, very strong. But in the qualifying, I felt the two McLarens definitely had the better of me over one lap. So this is the fastest lap that I have done in the Q3. I will be putting the standings at the end of every single video, and Zandvoort I will be releasing on Saturday. I will be live streaming this every single Sunday at 7 PM UK time on this YouTube channel. So if you'd like to watch it live, make sure you head over to there. Also check out the GASR Twitch stream that they do. I'll put a link to that in the description. They'll also be streaming the whole overview of the race. But yeah, for me, league racing, it's been a long time, and real life has been very busy for me during that time. But I think the main reason is just simply I just haven't really enjoyed league racing on the recent F1 games. And don't get me wrong, I think F1 24 still has some many things they can improve. But racing wise, I've actually started to find my love for league racing and racing in general coming back again. So that's why I decided to take the plunge here. So hopefully you join me for every single round, including the highlights and the live streams as well. And this lap here, I felt like was almost a perfect lap for me. It was 11.3, that was my PB, but you can still see we're still almost 2 tenths away from the pole. So I felt like I couldn't really do any more than that on that lap. So I started P3, which I think is the highest I could have possibly started. And let's see what we do in the race. We've got the formation lap, and again, 50% race, but we have to pit twice during this race. And make sure to stay tuned to the end because it is a pretty intense ending to this race. But you can see we're waiting for lights to go out, so we decided to start on the softs here. I actually chose the all softer compound, which I think might come back to bite me just a little bit, because the goal was to do a soft, medium, soft. And you can see we get a pretty good start here. So my starts in this game have actually been really, really good, but there's absolutely nowhere to go. So the two McLarens working together quite well. And now right here, I'm just trying to survive the first lap. So I'll be talking through my thoughts throughout this race, tell you what I've been thinking and some decisions I made during the race as well. And yeah, just securing the position, so always making sure not to lose any position. We're on the softs, and I think both guys ahead of me, Carl was on the softs as well, and he makes a little bit of a mistake here, so just trying to capitalise on that. So I don't want to be the third man in the DRS train. Ideally, I want to be switching around with first and second, and we get that done because there's a long race to go. And Carl, one of the fastest drivers, along with his teammate on PlayStation, but extremely fair and respectful. which is something I really admire about this league. The drivers are not only fast, but they are super clean as well. And this guy's not going to fight me too much because he is on the alternate strategy. So he's on the mediums, and now we're up into the lead. So a pretty good start so far. Kasuri's qualified in P3. Now we're already in the lead of the race. Couldn't wish to be more perfect. And right here now, I'm just going to be trying to control the race. Probably not going to break out of this DRS. So I'm just looking to have a good pace, gap the cars behind, stretch the field out a bit, and let's see what we can do. But you're about to see here now, there's a green flag, then there's a yellow flag. Someone has retired, and a virtual safety car has come out very early. And this is one of the main factors in the race, or one of the main decisions that we're going to be discussing. So you can see we're just going to skip ahead here. And I've got a decision to make. Do I stay out, or do I go in? Because if you pit under the virtual safety car, and the virtual safety car is still going, you can actually gain so much time, because obviously everyone else is going much slower who stay out. So I decided to actually take a huge gamble here, go in the pits. But you're about to see the virtual safety car has just ended, and I've also pressed the pit stop button too early, because it's the same button I used to actually look behind me, because I wanted to check if anyone was coming in the pits. And I can just say here now, that was the wrong decision. Didn't need to make that gamble, and just a very poor decision really. And yeah, if the safety car or the virtual safety car went on for another 5 to maybe 10 seconds, I would have actually gained a huge advantage from that, because they're not running at full speed like they normally would be, and you would actually be saving so much time. So I just thought, oh no, that'd be great to do that, but should have anticipated the safety car. The virtual safety car is going to be ending quite early, and just the wrong decision. Just didn't need to do that at all. I was kind of nervous maybe someone behind me might be doing it, but I was in the lead of the race on the soft tyres. There was just absolutely no need to do that. And plus, I don't have 2 fresh sets of mediums. I only have this set here, and then my next set of softs are used. So yeah, just not ideal. And you can see a lot of other people pitted behind me, but they've got 10 lap fresher tyres than me. And you can see Equal up ahead, he's got quite a few lap fresher tyres. So yeah, was already striking the face. So you can see the guy who's come out now, the other McLaren, who was the net P2. You can see we barely gained any time in him, because we pitted for very early for the mediums, and you can see we're already losing tyres here. Now he has 11 lap fresh tyres than me. You know, it's pretty much game over unless there is a miracle that could come in the race. You can see, look how much we're struggling, even after 10 laps on these mediums, struggling so much. We only gained like a second on him because of that virtual safety car, me just pitting early. Whereas if the virtual safety car stayed up for another 10 seconds, we could have gained maybe 5 or 6 seconds and could have maybe still worked out. Again, for me, just a very poor decision. Just didn't need to pit at that time, even if the safety car stayed out, because of how much tyres I have left. You can see just struggling so much here. So everyone has about 10 lap fresh tyres. We're just really a sitting duck. And right now, in my mind, I was just thinking this was just major damage limitation. Just suck up the mistake and just try and negate the damage as much as we possibly can, because, you know, we're not even halfway through this race yet. And I've only got a hard tyre, a new hard tyre, and there's some used soft tyres. So yeah, not looking too good. So although I know these guys are going to get past me, I'm just trying to reduce the amount of damage as much as possible, just in case one of them gets a penalty or anything. So still don't make it super easy for people to overtake me. Just really hoping for a miracle at this point. And let's see what we can do. See again, look at the understeer, the oversteer we have. Yeah, wasn't a good spot to be. So now we're in a net P6, and we're just trying to get to around lap 20 here, and then pit for maybe a soft. But they see a safety car, a full-blown safety car, or virtual safety car at the moment. Is it going to turn to a real safety car? Yes, it is. It's going to turn to a real safety car. This is a little bit of a godsend, which, again, this is probably a second decision, maybe reflecting on we could have made a bit of a different choice. So obviously we are going to pit, but I don't have a new set of mediums, which would have been the perfect tyre to be on right now. I have a new set of hards, or I have a used set of softs. And we decided to do the used set of softs because actually in practice, I was actually able to do 10 laps of the softs quite comfortably at a pretty consistent good pace. So I thought, we really got nothing to lose here. We're in P7 or net P6 here in this race. If I put on a set of hards and they've got new mediums up ahead of me, it's actually going to be really difficult to overtake. And I think the mediums will probably just be the fastest tyre all the way to the end of the race. So I just thought, just take a bit of a gamble and just see if it pays off. But you will see how this race develops and whether that was the right choice or not. So we're restarting this race here, and now we have about 14 laps to do on these used soft tyres as well. They only have 3 to 4% wear, but they are used, and I just thought this is my only chance to maybe make up some positions. So we're actually in P5, and you will see moving on towards the end of lap 19, I knew I had to make the most of these tyres as much as possible. So we're going to put on the afterburners, put on the overtake, and it's a bit of a complex situation where I need to be using the tyres, but I also need to be trying to maybe save them to get it to the end of the race as well. But I kind of had no choice at this point to really try and pull the plug and make up some positions. So we're going to try and go down the inside of this Alfa Romeo here. Everyone ahead of me is on a medium or a hard tyre. I don't think there's anyone else on the field who decided to use soft. So now we're up into P4, so that's pretty good. And at this stage, tyres were feeling really, really nice. I was definitely the fastest car on track with this tyre compound. You can see the other McLaren, one of the McLarens is on the hard tyre, which maybe in hindsight might have been the better choice, but yeah, we will never know now. But into P4 here, and the goal was just to get into P2, P1, and just survive with the DRS. So we're using the overtake button once again. We're really trying to put some pressure on the cars up ahead. So he's actually saving his DRS. So we're up into P3. Are we going to do a double overtake, go into this turn 1, down the inside of this McLaren? Does he leave space? Yes, he does. Leave him side by side. And now we've gone from P4 to P2 in one straight. This is exactly where I want to be, but we still have 10 laps of this race here to go, and already by this point I could actually feel the tyres starting to go. So you can see we're having a little bit of understeer, and the problem is if you keep on turning too much when your tyres are going off, you're then going to have catastrophic oversteer. So I was trying to protect the tyre and then not overuse them as well at the same time, and you will see as the laps go on we started to lose a little bit of traction. Really had to start the fight in the car more. At this point, was thinking about maybe breaking a DRS, but since my tyres were going off, I knew I just had to try and protect myself, use the ERS to my advantage, and the goal was just to try and stay in the top 2 and use the DRS to protect me from the guy in P3 behind. So that's what I was trying to do at this stage. You can see still got a number of laps of this race to go, and you'll be able to see for this last corner where we started to really lose the tyre. You can see started to fight the car just a little bit, but this is what I was hoping for. I was hoping to use the DRS to protect myself and just kind of switch around with the leader, and hopefully this way I can maybe still salvage somewhat of a good result. But you can start to see here, starting to fight the wheel and starting to lose a little bit of traction now. And I could even feel going through this last corner, it was actually a bit of a struggle to make it flat out. And you can see here, just playing the slipstream game with these two cars. And this is all I could really do at this stage. I knew my tyres were starting to drop off quite a bit. And you'll be able to see again, starting to fight that car a little bit more. You can see it not turning too much, because if I actually turned too much there, the back end will probably go around me. And you'll be able to see again, fighting the car, a little bit of understeer. But I was just hoping I could use the DRS from the cars ahead to protect myself from the cars behind. And you can already see with the tyres, the left-hand side, a lot more wear on the right, because you've got so many long right-hand clockwise corners around here. It puts so much stress on the outside tyres, so like going through this turn 3 here. And you can see again, the cars wanted to get away from me. We just don't have the grip at this stage. The Lozano is going down the inside of me here. And again, trying to make this as difficult as possible. I knew realistically it's going to be really hard to fight off these guys, but just in case they get a penalty, you never know what happens in the race. Don't give away a free pass, still make it that little bit difficult. So going down to Santander, the McLaren bashing wheels just a little bit, but managing to still hold on to that position. And I knew it was pretty inevitable that I would be losing it, but I'm just trying to reduce the time to the leader as much as I possibly can. And again, never know what happens when people get penalties or anything like that at all. And you can just hear me say, I can really start to feel the tyres got off now. You can see here just snapping at the steering wheel. Definitely wasn't having a good time. You can see the tyre indication is a pretty bright orange, and you can see we're getting a mixture of understeer and some pretty serious oversteer as well at the same time. So using that DRS just to protect myself as much as possible. So we've got 2 laps. We're still with the top 4 here, and I was just hoping maybe the guys up ahead might start fighting just that little bit. But you'll be able to see again for this long right-hand corners, the car wants to over-rotate, and I knew on this occasion there was really nothing I could do. So we've got to concede this position, and again, maybe the hard tyre might have been the slightly better choice. You can see that McLaren up ahead, they're doing pretty well, and now Carl's going around the outside of me. We're going to try and protect this once again, but he had enough momentum coming off that corner. We decided to slot him behind into 6th place. So yeah, in hindsight, maybe the hard tyre was better, but I think I made the wrong decision of not choosing the balanced tyre compound selection for the qualifying, because I think there's a bit of a glitch in this game where it still says you have the same set of mediums for the balance and the soft. I just kind of took the game's word for it, but in future I think having 2 sets of mediums really is essential in this game. And again, you can see the car, we're not even able to do that flat out anymore, so I was actually quite nervous that maybe we might get a puncture at this point. But now we're back into P7, and the gap is over a second behind to P8. So the goal right now is just to try and survive. So it was worth a shot. At one stage, I thought it could be possible to actually keep in that top 3 with the soft tyre, but wasn't meant to be. Coming around the last corner, just about surviving. If it one more lap, we probably would have lost it to my teammate. But managed to come 7th. Just didn't make good decisions that race. I think the pace in the race was pretty good, but I think that virtual safety car, we should have just stayed out. And if we stayed out, then yeah, who knows what we could have done. And we would have been in a higher position. And then if we weren't the hard tyre, maybe we could have maintained that top 3 position much, much easier. But it wasn't meant to be. Zandvoort, I will be releasing on Saturday, and that was a very, very good race. And then I will be live streaming the Monza round 4 on this Sunday at 7 PM UK time. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I'll be catching you very, very soon. Peace.